So pause if you want to look at the video code, sorry, at any length, because I will be talking through. There's a lot of code, so I might as well scroll down every like 4 or 5 seconds, and then yeah, you can understand what's kind of going on. But so theoretically speaking, I could have done this for the last character, but yeah, I mean, I just chose that. It maybe that character just comes with the tools that he has, and that's about it. But as for other characters, I mean, I wanted to try going more in depth to an actual. Well, would we call this a mechanic? Technically a mechanic. I mean, it's a whole mechanic in their the IP that they came from, but shrug, right? Also, you'll note that some information just exists there. Just ignore it, because obviously the item that we're using, that's the star of the show today, along with the other should I just say it? I might just say it at some point, but I'll wait until after like a few minutes when the video starts. For parts of the code that are self-explanatory, I'll probably just scroll through them more easily. But if I want to stop to talk about things, so for example this, I was just trying to make sure things were working correctly, because I think I just bundled up some code. That's why I have the code here in case anyone wants to test themselves. And if you just want to make, if I never come out with this custom content publicly for the custom character that it's made for, because the character is made by another creator, then yeah, you can just copy basically what I have on screen. Otherwise, I should be throwing up eto files along with the code. But otherwise, as we actually get into the other parts of the, well, basically 3 eto files. Yes, obviously we could start with a whole bunch of encyclopedia. We could go through the whole encyclopedia, and yeah, that would be a lot of eto files. So for the moment, this is more kind of a prototype. What would you call this? Prototype, beta, alpha, proof of concept. Basically that we want to test things out. So as you can see here, I might actually just spread this out so you can actually see it. But yeah. It's just a few statements here and there, but obviously these are very simple effects, like just dealing damage, and then just making sure that variables are set so that they basically things can be reset. Something to note here is that I tried, I mean, there is a band-aid fix to this. I said non-verbal cast even without, or sorry, no, never mind. I'll move down here and I'll talk about it here. That's wrong. Forget it, wrong one. But here, yeah, disable forget bonus. I removed this. Obviously, I could just put like reason -1, but that's not perfect. But then when I set disable forget bonus to 1, I think I still get the reason recovery, unless that's talking about something different. But I mean, I made a few mistakes in the past hour that I was working on this, so yeah, not really much else to say. And then as usual, just like the item, we set the variables so that they things are reset and we can do things. Now, there's an easier way to do it, but I was just doing based off what I could find. So really brute force method here in terms of how I implemented this, and you could definitely be a lot more efficient and a lot more in-depth and clear when you are working with eto code. So again, just going through the second version, or a second one here, it's pretty much the same, which is why I'm just going to give you pretty much the relevant things. I do have to want to show the description, so at least show you what it looks like. But really, the meat of it all is here, where I forgot. I usually put ellipses to show that there's code in between, but you get the point. This is really only the main. This is really the main meat, the custom spell cast. And again, non-verbal cast to 1 because I want you to be able to use this. It's not really a spell. Period. And then to spread this part out, if I didn't spread the other part out, forgive me, but otherwise it looks pretty much the same as this, except that the second version obviously has damage that it's effective against, which is, I think, is appropriate for the source where this character came from. But otherwise, yeah, not really much else to say. That's the meat of what we're working with, and that will actually provide quite some difference. So as we switch back to the game here, and if I forget anything, I mean, that's why we have 2 episodes of this. Yeah, off we go. You'll also notice that I didn't put any artwork, by the way, for the non-item custom content that I used in this episode, because drawing 2 separate avatars, let's just say, is going to be a bit much for me. So as we get, funny enough, it's like task, exquisite taste. I even forgot this character's stats, but yeah, in lieu of, I think I left the suicidal curse, but I obviously took away the revolver because we were working with a perm version of the character. So hey, exquisite taste, right? Yeah, and then off we go. If it wasn't exquisite taste, well, whatever. Time to stress test this character as we get into Task Exquisite Taste Custom Character. So again, the start of the show is this. I'd used a different kind of, not art style, but I used a different method to make the art this time. So yeah, you'll notice that it looks, the way that the, usually the borders, whether it's details of the item itself or the borders of the actual item in World of War, looks a little different. It's because I used a different style, or not style, I used a different method. So Yeah, that's all I have to say at the moment. For the most part, I usually do have references in my face. This reference is really obvious. It should be very obvious, but hey. But yeah, without further ado, again, not really much else to say here until we get into combat. And yeah, off we go. So, let's check the lighthouse as per usual. Base World of Horror stuff. Light, second mystery, charisma, Tachi-san, dexterity, and maybe a strength check. And I'm going to forget that later on. But the important part to note here is that, so we don't need a weapon because we have a thing. Now, getting a weapon would be nice, so we'll go to, like, actually behind the scenes instead. So, yeah, behind the scenes stuff is that, yeah, this character can carry a weapon while they are using their main mechanics. So, I mean, I feel like that makes sense. You could argue that the previous character I did last episode relative to this video could have done the same, but you know, just add challenge, and then I could just go back and add the system. So I think the creator said that the back sprite they weren't as satisfied with it. It looks fine to me, but I understand what they might be talking about. From what if I were to give criticism, it would be like, I guess, the details of the shirt. Usually you'll be surprised to see how many times lines are actually cut off. So, you know, maybe a pixel here at 1, 2, and then there are actually folds in the clothes if they're wearing basically clean cut clothes. Even then, there's still shadows that appear, but how detailed you want to be and how basically simplified you want the art to be is a topic for debate. And I think part of it might be the shirt here. If you add an outline to the shirt that shows basically the division between the arm and the pants, it'll look a lot better, basically, at least in my opinion. Again, art is in the eye of the opinionator. So as we get mermaid, sailors, Akamanto, Venus, and Go, we have to do Goal in Akamanto. That I know. We could take mermaids just to try and grab an axe, and you know what? We will. So once we get into battle, I can show you basically what this character do, and police station. So off we go. I didn't set the police patrols, by the way. We'll set it to the school. We might have had like household hell and vigil, but I don't think we had vigil, but you get the point. I'm just gonna default to school. Again, your base World of Horror advice for today, I know I've said it before, but we'll repeat it. If the school or the downtown locations are at max threat level, if you have the police station, just set the police stations there. You will more than likely get your use out of it. Even if you go, you know, you don't have to be super efficient, but it does allow you to save on Doom. So most of the time, almost all the time. So as we get into this, so the mechanic here is we lose 1 stamina, 1 reason. I feel like I haven't been consistent with the way the details are structured in text, but bear with me. Again, this is more like a prototype. So we use that, we get a persona, and then we use the thing. I forgot what you put up here. Again, I just made this like an hour's time, and 45 of those minutes was me bug testing, so goodness. And then every turn, so you'll notice I can't use the same persona this turn as you know, at least if for no other reason than gameplay balance, because if you could just keep using basically spells or persona here, it would be too much. And then using the evoker again would be too much too, because then that would just allow you to cycle persona over and over. Now there is a cost here, but it's that's still more powerful, especially if you add more persona here, than to do it. Now, you could get the same one. I could add a case in which you can't get the same persona. So, but again, we're just kind of showing the proof of concept here. I keep saying the term as if it means something, but you get the point. We're going to use it here, but then if you forget it, notice that I set the spell or the forget bonus to 1, so that there shouldn't be any forget bonus, and yet, or is it ignore? Was it ignore? Did I say that wrong? I actually want to check really quickly. Give me about 5 seconds. Oh my sweet goodness, I cannot see. I am going absolutely in crazy. I have a lot of tabs open in Sublime Text, which is the program I use mainly for coding. Obviously, I use more dedicated coding software for actual code. But, oh yeah, disable forget bonus, and I still got the reason. So again, the Band-Aid fix would probably just be to reduce reason by 1, but I don't know if that would cause weird things. Say if you're like at 1 reason and you forget a spell, that might kill you, even though it's not supposed to, because you want to just disable the bonus, but hey. And then as you can see here, yeah, the persona are removed. Not all of them will be. If I were to flesh this out, basically this mechanic, because more than, like, if you have multiple characters from the series in here as custom content crossover stuff, then yeah. But not all of them will. I can probably, like, you have some that you can use during events or outside of combat, basically. But you get the point. Again, just going through. By next episode, basically, I'll have things more set out, whether it's art or more fleshed out, whether it's art or something else. I still do actually want to use a persona here, because overall, I mean, gameplay-wise, this is quite powerful. Essentially, at least how it is right now, I'm just getting extra damage per turn, so I don't even need to use a weapon. But now that being said, actually using persona would probably constitute a cost as well, but actually, I mean, that would probably be the minimum that I would want to happen. Again, for gameplay purposes in World of Horror, being able to use a spell, even if you're limited to using it once per turn, is powerful because then you can just attack with the weapon, even if it's just 2 kicks, which are almost always guaranteed. Again, you can get the panic curse and bad things can happen. Here I am just taking damage in the face as well, but we have the handcuffs at a certain point, so I don't really need to worry. I don't have any persona in the game that do extra damage to human enemies, so we just do... we don't need to use the evoker, because then we're just going to lose a bunch of stamina, and we actually could die here. So, we're on Zectast, right? Yeah, we have 9% Doom. Again, that's a consequence of not needing to grab a weapon. Again, you could just run this character without any weapons. Shrug. So, yeah, we should be able to handcuff tech this. Now, without handcuff tech, note that I probably would have died there, but you get the point. It's still quite powerful. Like, not entering that boss in particular, the boss of mermaids, without a weapon is not normal, gameplay-wise, what to expect. But, again, if you make a character like this, with mechanics similar to this or just like this, they tend to be quite powerful. Because, again, don't need a weapon, so you don't lose resources at the very beginning. And then on top of that, this is very combat-oriented, so what ends up happening is, yeah, combat is easier. You could do some more intricate math to make it a bit more balanced, or Band-Aid fix would just be to add, like, costs or requirements for using the persona here, but you get the point. It's very powerful. It's not the most powerful. Obviously, the most powerful would be to have, like, 99 strength and a strength weapon, but... you get the point. So, let's see here. This character has the luck stuff. I guess I'll take it. It is bugged, I think, in places, unless Perm fixes it when you use it, but also, that's right, it's a task, but we don't really need to worry about it. Actually, we don't need to worry about it at all. I mean, definitely don't need to worry about it now, unless we get, like, 2 stacks of flashbacks. But this character, turns out, unless I missed more as a task events because I was autopiloting, has a normal stat spread. Although the cast events do certainly help out. Now, what's unfortunate here is I actually die because of this, but we got the proof of concept done. I mean, not really much else to see. Basically, every battle refreshes the uses of the evoker and persona. But as I accidentally, yeah, did I take like 2-3 stamina damage in that very last event? That's very unfortunate. Again, don't let it be said that you can't still lose, but boy, oh boy. Now, I could have just rested here to be safe, but I guess I'll see you in the next video. If you have any questions, you know what to do. Otherwise,